and your producer, Ernesto Soto. If we have any producerial questions. Marcelo, you are primarily a fiction writer, director. Marcelo's actually had a number of films at our festival before in fiction. So you said this is your first documentary, but you're not a young filmmaker.
I'm still
youngish. So I'm curious. You're moving from fiction to nonfiction, and being a writer, how much of that informed the making of the documentary? Because we've had conversations with other documentary filmmakers about how, documentaries are so different. You just let reality unfold, and So how did that progression?
It's interesting because I studied cinema in England, and I was very, very, very impressed about Mike Leigh films. So all my fiction films had a little bit of documentary and really naturalist films. So I think my fiction influenced me to make documentaries. Was the other way around. And as well, I did a film I travel because I have to, that I shot as a documentary, but I decided not to make a documentary, that image, and I made a fiction. So I'm between that border and fiction and documentary. But this one, it's a real documentary. But I decided since the beginning to mix up different styles of documentary. In the beginning, it looks like an observatory documentary, and after interviews documentary, and after I use it as positive in the end, when I give the camera to the people to shoot the Carnival. And as well, I put my voiceover as a kind of a personal documentary. I decided to mix up different styles of documentary. Maybe because I'm so fond of documentaries. I've seen so many documentaries that I want to mix up everything in one.
And you are a writer, and I do think the voiceover that you've written for yourself helps the viewer, guides the viewer, offers questions to the viewer. I'm curious about that writing process and the decision to include your voiceover.
It's interesting because in the beginning I didn't want my voiceover. First of all, because my voice is horrible, I hate my voice. But anyway, one day I was shooting that scene with the hip hop guys, that they were dancing the hip hop, and I started remembering the day that I was in that city, and it was 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and started the angels in the church. And the bells of the church was, that moment was belling, and I said, oh my God, my memory has to be there, because it's gonna be another layer of emotion that I have to bring for the film. It was in that moment that I decided. But I did want to make a kind of a judgment of the scenario, and I did want to make a kind of a melancholic way to see the past regarding the present. But anyway, I don't know if I could, because I think I have this kind of a Portuguese melancholic soul, but still there. That's the idea of the voiceover.
Questions for Marcelo? Yes.
Hi. Thank you very much for your excellent documentary. I really enjoyed it. One of the things that I most enjoyed is that you're very respectful with the subjects that you present. Yet you are presenting your very strong point of view that contradicts their own lives, because they seem very fond of what they're doing, yet from your perspective you show us that it's a cycle, a never-ending cycle that you yourself are very anxious about. Yeah. So I was just thinking, how did you negotiate that? Because you do show respect for them, but on the other hand, we feel that tension that separates you from them. You even put like classical music to avoid the sound of the machine, so like you're separating yourself from them.
Well, that's a long answer, but anyway, the first thing I have to say is it's very curious to be in a Q&A in a documentary that when I finished, I have more questions than they answer. I love it when people have the documentary said, look, my mind's like spinning around. It's my one as well, for 2 years making a documentary. I don't have answers, but what I love is I gave to the people, space to them to give to present their ideas about their work and their lives. And that was really struck me because I could make different documents. I could make a documentary about the environmental process in the area because the river is blue, you know, and the urban process of the city is horrible, and the noise pollution is terrible. The health of the people is terrible. And I was trying to find a focus for the documentary. But one day, when the people told me that they are happy because they are slavers of themselves, I was really struck. I said, oh my God, what's going on? Because when I got there in Toritama, I felt that Toritama was England in the 19th century, you know, was the beginning of the capitalism. And after 1 year and a half, I said, wow, these people, they love because they work 7 days, 17 hours a day. And they think that they are entrepreneur, they are the owner of the factory, and they are very proud of their life, a life that is what's going to happen to them in the future with their health, with their security, health, the process of the pensions that they don't have, it, what's going to happen with the future of these people. And I said, wow, that's the documentary. But I'm not going to have answers for that. I'm going to present what they think about is their life. And it's amazing because day by day I felt that, you know, our life, at least in Brazil, I don't know about the US, but people work like 7 hours, and after they do Uber, and they do another job, and they do things in the internet, they email people at midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, and every day you work more and more and more. And I thought about Margaret Thatcher in the 80s saying that greed is good, let's work more. Yes, you can. Forget about work 9 to 5 in a factory. You can be your owner, you know, of your life. What kind of life these people have? So I thought, oh my God, maybe in Brazil, I don't know about US, we're gonna be a big Toritama. Everybody's gonna be people in the Toritama. Work, you know, 7 hours a day without any holiday, and forget about the carnival. You know.
She was mentioning that they agreed to have an interview if they continued working.
Yeah, that's an amazing thing, because the first person I interviewed was a lady. She said, look, yes, I can give an interview for you, but I'm not going to stop working. I'm going to work and give you the interview. I said, oh, what a great idea. Everybody is going to give an interview while you work. And I'm going to say to everyone, that's my idea. That's my idea. That's lovely, you know. I wanted a film that was very porous, that, you know, the Toritama contaminated the film. You know, that was the idea. I opened the camera for them, and was really, really beautiful in the day that I showed the film in Toritama to these people. And I was really nervous.
They stopped working.
Yeah, they stopped. The amazing thing, there is a cinema there. They didn't know that there was a cinema in the city because they are so busy. They never go to the cinema. That's an amazing thing. It was the first time they went to the cinema in the town to see the film. And they left the cinema and they said, wow, our life is really miserable. I was really struck. Miserable. I was really struck. I said, oh my God, if there is any meaning to make film, that's one meaning. That was very happy.
That they acknowledge their misery.
Yeah, have to give that space to reflect about themselves.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes.
I have a question. So to present the goat herder, did the people of the town, did they think the goat herder was this crazy outlier who was like, why doesn't this guy make tons and tons of money making jeans instead of herding goats? Or did they see him as like, I don't know, like a Buddha or
Old-fashioned.
a connection to the past?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's they consider it's an old-fashioned thing.
It was old-fashioned.
Yeah, for sure. But the amazing thing is, in Toritama, because the dry season, they don't have any opportunity to work apart from the agriculture. And with the dry season that's going on, that you know, we had a kind of a climate change in that area. So the only opportunity to them is to work in the jeans factory. It's the only one. It's the only way. You know, a process of a very strange industrialization that only happened in a place like this that's very poor, and there is no opportunity like, I don't know, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, or China, and places like this. You know, we see situations like this. That's very, very impressive. And the amazing things, when I was filming there, one day one guy came to me and said, why you are making this film? I said, because I want to show to the world this situation. And I said, what about if you are a Chinese spy that wants to try to discover our secret and bring to China, and we're going to destroy our factories, our work? And I said, oh, do I look like a Chinese spy? A Chinese spy? But anyway, it's very interesting because if one country, another place in the earth, could produce jeans cheaper than Toritama, everything is going to finish. And we don't know what's going to happen to them.
Marcelo, come here so Ernesto's not going to fall off. Yeah, sorry.
So I want to compliment you. This is a really wonderful, wonderful film. I don't know if you made it, or the things that you shot made the film themselves. That you say a documentary film documenting something, but the things you were documenting, all the things you shot actually made the film. They gave it the rhythm and they gave it the life and everything. I thought that this film was showing the possibilities of cinema in ways that other films that fit within the genre don't do. It really, documentary is in a sense about reality, but you reverse that. And I really love that. You've opened up the possibilities of cinema here in ways that is rare to see. So I want to thank you a lot for that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You know, one day I was shooting that guy making that kind of routine process of working, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God. I was breathless, and I said, look, I have to bring this to the film. Cinema is that, it's to bring emotion. It's why I cut the sound and I put bar instead. I think I was feeling that. I put myself, my feelings in the film. It was 2 years of living there, going and back to Toritama together with Ernesto. It was really sad because the situations in Brazil was getting worse and worse and worse. In the last 2 years, you know, it changed a lot the policy of the laborers. They lost a lot of rights, and we are facing that in Brazil, and as well facing the problems in Toritama. And I think my emotion is there, my heart's there. It works.
And also a year of editing.
You want to talk about the final crafting of the film after the shooting? Yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, what you said, you go with the script, but then Marcelo took a very long time to edit, which was, he had the time, he edited and then let it still for some time, and then went back to it. That's a craft.
But what dominated the editing, I imagine, was not his taking hold and directing it, but rather being taken hold of by the material things that he was actually, you know, shooting.
I was contaminated by the
Yeah,
material.
exactly.
That's exactly that.
I see that.
It
Yes.
put my heart in front of everything.
In the surrounding towns, are people envious of the people in the town, or are they want to be there, or what does the surrounding areas think? Is this like where everybody wants to be, or the opposite?
Lots of people, they migrate to there. You know, there was like 10,000 people 10 years ago. Now they have 55,000 people. They migrate a lot to there. And the other towns, they as well, they copy the idea of Toritama, and they produce another kinds of jeans, very cheap. And they produce to part of Brazil, to Africa, and part of Europe. They produce to other different countries as well in Latin America.
Yes.
Hi, I was wondering, is the Carnival, is it truly one day that they go to the beach, or is it kind of a longer period of time? I couldn't tell.
Yeah, Carnival is, it's a 1 week, it's 5 days actually.
Okay.
The most important thing for us, you know, in Brazil, it's Carnival. Carnival is like a religion. And the amazing thing is, when I decided to give the cameras to them, again, with the idea of to put the heart in it, was I shot them working, and I had to shoot them in a kind of a holiday life. And I said, oh my God, when they get there, in their house, they go to the beach, and they want to drink, to dance, and we are there with the crew, with the camera. Maybe it's going to destroy a kind of leisure that they're gonna have. So we decide that we're gonna film they're working, and they're gonna film them in the carnival. I gave the camera for 4 characters in the film. And I gave them on Friday, and the carnival ends on Tuesday. And we crossed the finger because you don't know what's going to happen. But to make films is to make risks. I love that. You know, I love to make risks. And when I received the material, it was like 25 hours of great materials. I can make a Netflix series with it. It's wonderful, I tell you, it's wonderful. But I think Leo's material was a synthesis of all the other materials. So we decided just to show that material. But I have the rushes, I can show to you if you want.
Oh, yes, last question in the back.
Was the description of the workers being paid in US dollars, was that for translation purposes of showing the film, you know, here, or are the workers paid in US dollars? And if you could speak to that a little bit more.
Yeah, when we finished the film, we sent to Berlin, the Berlinale Film Festival. They selected the film. We put in euros, but it was in English, so we decided to translate the values into English because kind of a universal values that people can understand is the dollar. But it's amazing, the values in the Brazilian exchange is the same. It's really, really, really a little bit money. So they have to work a lot. The lady says that if you can produce 10,000 pair of jeans, you can make money, but it's impossible. It's really, really possible.
Thank you, Marcelo
So
Gomes.
thank you very much.
Thank you so much.